Hello and welcome 2024. I was going to hop on a Facebook Live and then the process became very complicated with browsers and supporting and passcodes, so I had to wait. But this message really wanted to be shared, and it has a lot to do with seeing people's kind of theme for the year, their interests, what they're going to be focusing on. And these last couple of weeks have really taken some time off and seeing what I've learned over 2023, feeling into what's needed for 2024, and getting a little bit of re-inspiration around what I've discovered last year and what I want to do and how I work with people. And one of the things that I've discovered the past few years is that words and the energy behind words are very powerful. They play a really big role in my life. They are often how I help counsel people or work and reflect things back to them. They're often how I read and understand how someone's thinking and where they're at. And so moving forward into this year, I want to start to look at some of the words that are out there in our collective, because some of the spiritual connotations to these words may or may not be completely accurate at this time. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there are concepts that are circulating out there that when we don't have the kind of full picture around what that means and how to do it, it doesn't actually allow us to figure out our relationship to that word. And the word that I want to unpack today is alignment. And it has a lot to do with how I've built my business, what I help women do, and the inspiration behind my first immersion for women to come together and look at different parts of their life in a way that allows you to really get close to the things that are working in that area and the things that aren't. Right? We have these habits, all of us, in different parts of our world, different themes that when they arise, there are conditions that we've often carried into these areas of our life. And the way that the world is moving at this point in time is so much more immediate. The energy that's coming into the earth, the everybody can see, the collective dilemmas that we're having, the corruption, the constant momentum of things changing, literally from the foundation up. How are countries being run? Where is our money source going to? How are we being governed as people? All of this ends up being a perpetuated motion, energetically on the planet, right? There are so many things changing. And what does that do? Like a spinning top, that creates more momentum and more momentum and more momentum. And so what that ends up doing in our system, for a lot of us on a personal level, which is the level that we're working at usually, right? We cannot work on the collective unless we've worked on this first, is that it creates a lot of waves for us, a lot of ripples. And that doesn't mean that that is not necessary, because it is necessary at this point in time in the world, in history, to be deconstructing certain aspects of our life on Earth. And we have a very practical, dedicated need to look at our own lives and reflect on what's working and what's not. And so alignment at its core, I'm teaching many people's bodies alignment basically. Wasn't just a case of knowing how their bones sat side by side and when someone's muscle is tighter there, what that causes their pelvis to do. Even though I've done that for years, still have a very big passion for doing it. Alignment is also this relationship that we're strengthening with knowing where to move next, as if you're on a chessboard, because we have this idea of alignment that once we get there, like we get in the boat, then we're aligned. That is not the case. Alignment is a process of understanding from the relationship of you and what's happening around you, energy within you, energy going out of you, energy coming towards you. How does that work? Alignment is really about understanding how to navigate it all. And the only way that I know how to navigate it all is to really get connected to your system, to your body, to what you're carrying, to your life. What is your life brought you, given you? What are you coming in with? How are you built? What nurtures you and what depletes you ultimately? And also, what are you being asked to grow? What are you being asked to move towards? What kind of things or experiences does your heart or your soul desire to have in this lifetime? Because that's the stage of life that I'm really usually working with people at, is we're not just thinking about pretty ideas of having a bigger house. We're really looking at the big picture of, what am I doing with my time? How is it making me feel? Where is my energy going? How have I been living? Is this what I'm meant to be doing? Is there more? And often that more piece is the knowing that there is. The knowing that what you've currently got playing out in your life is not meant and never was meant to be where you stopped and sat down and stayed forever. And so this alignment piece that I hear a lot of people talking about is important, just like many years ago with the quest for yogis to be looking for this inner peace, samadhi, nirvana, then we hit it, then it was done, right? We always were just looking for this somewhere further place of utter peace and universal connectivity. In my experience, we are always dipping in and out of many different realities. Sounds cool? It's not always. It means that sometimes we are in these very deep places of connection, and sometimes we need to talk to the guy who's pumping our gas or the person that we're dealing with at work. And it doesn't mean that we're still not in this multidimensional universal space. It just means that we're in a more practical 3D, on the earth, looking, dealing with what's in front of us on a horizontal level type of situation. Doesn't mean there's other things not still happening. So how does this play into alignment, and why is it so much of a bigger, why is it such a big topic basically these days? And I think that why many people are becoming curious about discovering where their alignment is and what it is and how it feels is because it's becoming very difficult to stay in places or with people or in situations that aren't in alignment with your evolution. They're not supportive of your well-being, loosely put. It becomes very uncomfortable very quickly. It becomes very clear to you that that is not supportive of yourself. And when you're not supporting yourself, which we've all had periods of our life where we recognize we haven't, our soul will never let you stay there. The soul is not here to go into a rabbit hole and disconnect you from life. All of life is built to actually thrive and grow. You don't need to look far in nature to understand that. And when you remember that it's not just this pretty spiritual concept about, oh, I'd like to evolve, I'd like to grow, and personal development is so fun. It's really your basic nature to grow. It's what you do from the moment that you are inseminated in your mother's body. It's the most basic primal force of life on earth, is the life force itself. And what we do with it is becoming so interesting these days because it is a choice. Everything that you choose is your doing. And alignment is this, it's almost like this relationship that you're cultivating with yourself, with your ability to listen to many different things at once and be able to understand through that language of being able to listen to many things at once what the next step of action is. That's all alignment is. It's not figuring out your 5-year plan, because I guarantee in 5 years you will be a different person. And so I just wanted to come on and share because I'm really passionate about this topic. I learned so much last year about this in my own life, and really am feeling this is one of my main gifts to discuss with people. How can we develop a better relationship with ourselves so that our alignment isn't something that we go to others to seek because they don't know necessarily how our alignment feels because they're not in our systems. How do we develop this conversation within ourselves so that it actually becomes a lot easier than we've been taught? I am dedicated to showing up a little bit more in this format in 2024. Wish me luck figuring out Facebook Lives. And if you are interested in traveling with me through 6 weeks, I'm taking a small group of women into what I've decided to call a process called Elevated. And if you're curious about that, you can find more info on my website. And if you'd like to connect with me and just say, hi, Happy New Year's, Natalie, I would love that too. Take care for now.